Can you tell the audience a little bit about, who aren't familiar with it, about what neuroaesthetics is, and the research being done with our sense of smell and fractals? Just a brief glimpse as to what that's about.
Thank you, thank you. So to simplify it, we were not born in buildings. The human race was born in nature, and so if you were to ask, and I'm really simplifying this down now, so if you were to ask most people around you, where's your outside of your own home, where's your favorite place? You often will hear people say, I love going to the beach, I love being at the lake, I love being in the forest, I go hiking, I'm in my garden. Like, you'll notice a common thread of nature connected. And so neuroscience is really about, or neuroaesthetics is really about how our environments make us feel, and that connection we have to our environments. And remembering that, we have, like I said earlier, we have two nervous systems. We have a parasympathetic, which is your calm, relaxed, serotonin boosting. And then we have the other one, which is fight, flight, freeze, and cortisol. And so what neuroaesthetics is all about, and why we're all of a sudden talking about it, is that it's been around for a long time. We've been talking about it, but we haven't really connected the dots between science and the built environment. And so we look at when I guess this might help to explain it a little bit. If you've ever been into an IKEA store, you'll hear often people saying, sitting on the furniture, saying, oh, I could just move in here. I could just live here. Come back tomorrow and I'll still be here. Or sometimes in real estate, when you go and check out a new place, and you'll say, I really connect with this environment. Subconsciously, like you don't know what it is, but it's your subconscious that's telling you, what you're connecting on for these reasons. And so what neuroscience and neuroaesthetics is doing right now for the built environment is helping the design, especially the design community, actually understand that they can impact the health of their clients more than a medical profession. Meaning that if you are creating and designing spaces that people feel comfortable and safe and connected to, and it's got nature's elements of nature to it, meaning bigger windows or the proper kind of lighting for our circadian system, which is it's in our DNA, they're going to have a better experience in that environment. And then you as a designer have done your job, better than just following a trend that you would have seen perhaps maybe on a television show or a color trend or whatever. So everything from color, sound, the smell within that space, all of it kind of contributes to that. So neuroaesthetics is interesting because back in 2019, for your trade listeners that might know about the furniture show in Milan, it's the Salone di Mobile in Milan, I should say. There was a pilot project that took place with Google, and Suchi Reddy from Ready Made Architects in New York, who's a neuroaesthetic architect, and John Hopkins. And what they did was they created 3 rooms using the same furniture from the same company, but changing out the colors or changing out shapes. And you would walk through with a device that Google had created, and it could measure your responses to those spaces. And after you walk through the 3, it would tell you which one of those spaces you were the most calm in. And so the idea of being calm and really, feeling that relaxed is good for your overall well-being. And so what they were demonstrating there is that there was a correlation between science and design. And if we could create environments that are calming and make us feel more connected to them, then we're actually improving people's health, because we want to be proactive versus reactive. So that's kind of that whole thing. When you talk about fractals, if you're not familiar with it, it would be, the simplest form would be something like a snowflake, a repetitive pattern. You have them in flames. Like, we love to gather around that campfire. Why? It's those fractals that we're seeing, those moving fractals that make us feel so connected.
Yeah, trees are a good example.
Leaves, everything, flowers. Nature is, there's no right angles in nature, and that repetitive pattern in nature, it is the most highest level of neuroaesthetics. It's the top of the pyramid there. And so if you can incorporate fractal patterns into your clients' spaces, so if you can also create any biophilic, that would be, that connection to nature, whether it's wood grain or plants or water or light or, you know, all those elements, your clients are going to have a more relaxed environment to be in. And so fractals is something that nobody's really talking about, but you will hear it over the next few years. And so you'll see it in fabric, you'll see it in wallpaper, you'll see it in flooring showing up, you'll see it in all different areas, but you need to have an understanding of it and how, you know, you can actually talk to your clients about it and why you chose those patterns versus others. And so that, and biophilia is another really, it's only, I think, really about the last 10 years we've been talking about biophilia. But surprisingly, all of this has been discussed and analyzed and studied and implemented in the commercial world. If you look at Apple and what they've done with their building and where you work, they spent billions of dollars to create an environment that really, you know, is more positive and supportive and really well for their employees. Why aren't we doing that for the home?